Welcome back, my friends. We are continuing with the guide through A Course in Miracles, specifically the workbook, and we are on lesson 23. I love the direction that we're starting to go in. We've taken some pretty obscure thoughts, things that are lessons that seem hard to wrap our minds around. But now things are beginning to make sense. That's the way it was for me, at least, when I finally stuck it out and got to lesson 23 and beyond. For me, when we get about this point, when we get to I am determined to see, I'm determined to see things differently, and that what I see is a form of vengeance, it feels like working with something of substance, something again that I can wrap my mind around. Lesson 23 says, I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts. Now, I'm not saying it sounds easy, but it sounds doable. It gives me a workable plan. When I first heard nothing I see means anything, the very first lesson, again, it was obscure. What do I do with this information? Of course, as we proceed, it makes more and more sense. And I'd like to refer to these lessons, the entire course actually, as a holographic text. Not an original concept from me, by the way. One little aspect of the course contains the entirety of it. If you get one lesson, you get the entirety. But we have 365 lessons and almost 800-page text and a manual for teachers to assure us that we have as many holographic episodes as possible so that we up the odds of being able to get that one thing that's going to carry us through. I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts. The idea for today contains the only way out of fear that will ever succeed. Those are bold words. An exclamation. The idea for today contains the only way, not one way, the only way out of fear that will ever succeed. Nothing else will work. Everything else is meaningless. But this way cannot fail. Every thought you have makes up some segment of the world you see. It is with your thoughts, then, that we must work if your perception of the world is to be changed. So important. Remember I said that those early lessons, 1, 2, 3, will start making sense? Every thought you have makes up some segment of the world, meaning every thought you have is causing your perception of the world. Change your perception, work with your thoughts, and your perception of the world is changed. If the cause of the world you see is attack thoughts, and we saw what I see is a form of vengeance. If the cause of the world you see is attack thoughts, you must learn that it is these thoughts which you do not want. Simply become aware. And then that conscious awareness, the intent. These are not the thoughts that I want. These are not the thoughts that serve me. This is not the world that I want to see. And above all, I want to see. There is no point in lamenting the world. There is no point in trying to change the world. It is incapable of change because it is merely an effect. It is not the cause. Anything you see in the world is not the cause. The world is not the cause of violence. The world is not the cause of warfare. It's not the cause of starving children. Our thoughts. Everything else that I mentioned is an effect. But there is indeed a point in changing your thoughts about the world. Here you're changing the cause. The effects will change automatically. I love this lesson because it addresses everything. Do you want to march for peace? Do you want to start a program to feed hungry children? All of these are good effects. And you could start something that will feed some people, and that's a worthy effort. But until each of us individually change the thoughts, change the cause, the effects will just keep repeating themselves. Tilting at windmills. So here you are changing the cause, the effects will change automatically. Once we think differently, the world responds differently. Be the change. The world you see is a vengeful world, and everything in it is a symbol of vengeance. Each of your perceptions of external reality is a pictorial representation of your own attack thoughts. One can well ask if this can be called seeing. It is not fantasy. It is not fantasy a better word for such a process? Is not fantasy a better word for such a process, and hallucination a more appropriate term for the results? Illusion, all the way down. You see the world that you have made, but you do not see yourself as the image maker. Seems like we've inherited this world, right? We're the image maker, individually, collectively. You cannot be saved from the world, but you can escape from its cause. This is what salvation means. For where is the world you see when its cause is gone? Vision already holds a replacement for everything you think you see now. Loveliness can light your images, and so transform them so that you will love them, even though they were made of hate, for you will not be making them alone. Through loveliness, everything, loveliness of light, everything is changed, transformed. The idea for today introduces the thought that you are not trapped in the world you see because its cause can be changed. This change requires first that the cause be identified and then let go so that it can be replaced. The first two steps in this process require your cooperation. The final one does not. Your images have already been replaced. By taking the first two steps, you will see that this is so. Besides using it throughout the day as the need arises, 5 practice periods are required in applying today's idea. As you look about you, repeat the idea slowly to yourself first, and then close your eyes and devote a minute to searching your mind for as many attack thoughts as occurs to you. As each attack thought crosses your mind, say, I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts about. And be very, very careful with how these subtle attack thoughts are. If it is not love, it's an attack thought. If it's an attack thought, it is the cause of the world. Hold each attack thought in mind as you say this, and then dismiss that thought and go on to the next. In the practice periods, be sure to include both your thoughts of attacking and of being attacked. Their effects are exactly the same, because they are exactly the same. You do not recognize this as yet, and you are asked at this time only to treat them as the same. In today's practice period, we are still at the stage of identifying the cause of the world you see. When you finally learn that thoughts of attack and of being attacked are not different, you're ready to let the cause go. Lesson 23. I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts. How about we start today? I love you.